Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick vlog about army building with the Eldar. As I mentioned in my opening video, I've got a small Eldar army. It's currently just over 1,000 points, but I'm looking to gradually build that up to a full-size 1750 and beyond army list. And so with a view to that, I've been reading up on some of the formations in the Eldar book and seeing, what might work. And so this vlog's just going to be a little bit about the three core formations. That's the Guardian Storm Host. I've also got the Windrider Host and the Guardian Battle Host. Now, these you can take 1 to 3 of if you take a sort of a full Eldar War Host detachment. But generally you're only really going to take one of these in most reasonable size points games, and then you can bolt on the other formations to it. And if you take these formations with the additional formations to make it into a war host, then you get the additional bonus when you do your run moves. Instead of running d6 inches, you automatically run 6, which is kind of handy. The problem with that is if you're using that, your troops lose objectives secured, and objectives secured is really important, especially in 7th edition with the Maelstrom missions, which a lot of the tournaments around where I play are actually using as the only missions. You really need those objectives secured units to make the most of grabbing the objectives. But anyway, onto the formations themselves. So the Guardian Storm Host, this is about using Storm Guardians. And it really does feel a little bit like Games Workshop are trying to push these guys in this edition, because nobody is playing Storm Guardians. I don't think I have ever seen anyone play Storm Guardians. So with this formation, you need to take 3 units of Storm Guardians, a Viper Squadron, unit of War Walkers, a Valsraf support battery, and a Farseer, and you can take a Warlock Conclave as well if you like. And the benefits of taking this formation: the Guardians get all their special weapon upgrades free, so that's flamethrowers and fusion guns and power weapons, and also any of the support units, the batteries, the Vipers, the War Walkers, shooting at a target within 12 inches of the enemy, get preferred enemy. Now this formation isn't as bad, as you might think. Storm Guardians are Storm Guardians. Nobody's playing them because toughness 3, strength 3, 1 attack on a 7-point model that's designed to get into combat because they've got the sword and the pistol there. They're not the best unit. Now this, if you're going to run them, is going to be the best way to do it. You've got your boosted weapons, and if you take into account the bonus for the War Host, they'll be getting in there a bit faster. But really, I don't see anybody taking this. You have to get a lot of units to make it work, and none of them are terrible. Storm Guardians got a points drop in this edition, but they're still Storm Guardians. You're taking a toughness 3, strength 3, 1 attack dude and trying to throw him into close combat, which I just don't see that working, particularly when you've got such better troops choices in the Eldar army. You've got your jet bikes, you've got your Dire Avengers, you've even got your standard Guardians are pretty decent. So, like I say, I just don't see anyone taking this formation except for very sort of specialist themed armies. Now, onto the Windrider Host. Now this, I have seen lists built online using it, and at first glance it does seem very attractive. Eldar jet bikes got a huge buff in this edition, being able to take the shuriken cannon or scatter laser upgrades on every single bike in the squad, while still maintaining the jump, shoot, jump ability of being a jet bike, and they've still got objectives secured. And then this formation allows you to take 3 squads of them and call it sort of the core of your army. Now, in addition to the 3 squads of jet bikes, which can be anything from, I believe, 3 guys minimum up to 10, you need to take a Farseer, a Viper Squadron, and a Warlock Conclave. Now, this is the only one of these where the Warlock Conclave is compulsory, and that's worth noting because Warlocks aren't bad, but I tend to see their role in this codex more being as add-ons to Guardians than as a conclave themselves. With the Warlocks on this, they have to be Skyrunners, which means they've got to take jet bikes, which means a minimum cost of 50 points per model. Now, you can run the conclave as just one model, but, you know, it's a unit still, so he's not an independent character who can join a squad. So to make a unit, you're going to want to go for 3. 3 is decent, but then you get the extra power for taking 4. So that's going to want you to push it up to 4 or even 5 guys, and that, you know, that's a very powerful squad. It also costs 200 points for 4 guys, each of whom are only a single wound, toughness 4, 3 up, 4 plus invuln. You know, yet they've got some psychic powers. They are decent, but they are very pricey. And then obviously, because this formation is all on bikes, it doesn't gain any benefit from the Warhost detachment being able to run, because nothing in this squad can run. And the benefit you do get is that all your shuriken weapons, for 1 turn, providing the Farseer is still alive, get, I believe it is, they get shred for the end of the phase. Now, combine that with guide that the Farseer can cast, you can have guys, you know, you have a squad of guys pumping out multiple strength 6, AP 5, but pseudo-rending shots at 24 inches. You know, you can get the rerolls to hit and the rerolls to wound on there. It can be really effective. Problem is that at a recent tournament I attended, there were maybe 6 or 7 Eldar armies, and all of them included jet bikes. And I can tell you now that only one of them took the shuriken weapons. And now, while it is true that on paper shuriken weapons against Space Marines are better than scatter lasers because of the rending, scatter lasers is what everyone's taking. You've got the extra range, the extra shot, you know, they are a really potent weapon. And so with this formation, you're gaining essentially no benefits, and you're losing objectives secured. So, yeah, I can totally see people taking all the models in this formation. I just think if I'm going to run these type of units, I'm going to run it as a standard combined arms detachment to get the OBSEC on the jet bikes. Seriously, these are guys that can move anything from 14 to 24 inches a turn. You know, having that with objectives secured can be really potent, especially with multiple small units of just 3 scatter or 3 shuriken cannon bikes. So again, a good formation, but not really one that I can see myself taking, because if I'm running bikes, I'm running them as troops. Now the final choice is the Guardian Battle Host. Guardians traditionally have been set as the core of the Eldar army, but actually you don't tend to see them very often. Whereas with this battle host, I can actually see the Guardians starting to come back into being a bit more useful. You know, the squads can work quite nicely as sort of close range fire support. You've got your 12-inch range blade storm, shuriken catapults, but the big buff for this unit is you get the heavy weapons for free when you take them in this formation, and that can be anyone regardless of the cost, including that rather expensive EML. So there you go, you've got some sort of backup anti-air in there for free. Now you do have to take all the support units, so you've got your Vipers, your Warwalkers, and your Valsrath support battery, and your Farseer. But again, none of them are bad, and the support units do get the preferred enemy against enemies within 12 inches of the Guardian Defenders, which can, you know, can be made to work. You put your Guardians in, say, a Wave Serpent, which can now carry the heavy weapon platform. You put a Warlock in there as well, and you give him Conceal. Squad moves up into ruins or cover of some sort. Warlock casts Conceal. That unit is now going to be very hard to hit because you've got Shrouded on there and they're in cover. They can fire out some short range shots and, you know, going to be tough to shift, and any opponent that comes into range of them hasn't just got to worry about the firepower of the Guardians, but also the firepower of the Warwalkers, the Vipers and the Battery that are all getting preferred enemy because they're within 12 inches of the targets within 12 inches of the Guardians. So if you're planning to build an Eldar army focused around Guardians and their support units and trying to make the most of the bonuses from the what's it called, the Warhost detachment, then this I think is the one that people, you should be really looking at considering. I know the Windrider Host has those lovely jet bikes, but if you want the jet bikes, just play them as a CAD. They are going to be better as a CAD, where you've got six units of jet bikes you can take as troops, rather than being locked into only taking 3 and losing objectives secured. If you want to take the Guardian Battle, the Warhost formation, I would actually suggest the Guardian Battle Host. But in all of this, there's actually a formation that I think I'm going to be building my army around a lot more than any of these 3 core ones. I'm going to say forget about the Warhost detachment. The bonus is good, it's useful, but if you've seen any of my Eldar jet bikes, you will see that my Eldar army is in the colours of Biel-Tarn. Now, Biel-Tarn is famous for its aspect warriors, and I'm going to try and build my army around a combined arms detachment with allied aspect hosts. Now, the aspect host is not a core formation, it's an auxiliary formation, so you can't use it as sort of the core of the war host, but that's fine because I want my jet bikes to be in combined arms detachment anyway. So what you do is you take 3 units of aspect warriors, make them a formation, and they get re-roll on most of their leadership tests and +1 to either their weapon skill or their ballistic skill. And this gives you the option of taking loads of aspect warriors, because you can take multiples of this formation, and everyone knows Biel-Tarn, it's all about aspect warriors, and most of them got some good buffs in this codex. So the way I see the army I'm building panning out is going to be a core of Guardian jet bikes and a Farseer acting as my scoring units, and then loads of aspect hosts joined onto it to form the backbone of the army and really do the heavy work, taking out the specific targets. And I'm working on some Dark Reapers at the moment to do anti-air, anti-armour, fire dragons to blast out tanks and bunkers. Also got Dire Avengers, great for taking out infantry. I'm also looking at adding warp spiders at some point because they're one of the most powerful aspects at the moment. So there we go. That's my thoughts on the Eldar formations. If you like this video and this sort of way of doing it, just me talking about what I think, then by all means let me know in the comments and I'll do more. If you think this sucks and I could do it better, then again tell me in the comments and I can see what people think. Thanks a lot for watching this. Bye.